I'm here today in Houston, Texas with John Weigel, former owner of EnviroSMART Multifamily Pest Solutions, which is now partnered with Tyro Group based out of Norway. John, it's great to get the time to sit down with you today and just catch up, after selling your business. First off, we just want to say thank you very much for allowing us to represent you and for putting that trust in us during this process. So it's been a few weeks since the closing of your business. How have you been?
Everything's good. Everything's been great. It's just, we're still trying to wrap up a few loose ends and stuff like that, but for the most part, I got a little more freedom on my hands and a little more money in the bank, but other than that, it's been going good.
That's great to hear. Yeah, we love that. And John, you're originally from Kansas City, correct?
I'm from Kansas City, yeah, awesome. Originally.
And then, so you later moved to Texas where you built EnviroSMART into one of the leading commercial pest control providers, in Texas's major metro markets with a strong emphasis on multifamily communities. Your mission statement even reads, quote, "We are laser focused on multifamily." What guided you towards specializing so specifically in the multifamily sector?
Yeah, so I've been in the multifamily industry for over 30 years. It's just I had a business before that I did some multifamily with, and I sold that first business, and I found out kind of through the transaction, that we really did multifamily well, and then. But I also discovered that multifamily was kind of a stepchild. It was always kind of felt like nobody really wanted to take them seriously, or I felt that the multifamily sector was underserviced and kind of treated in some pest control businesses as a nuisance or kind of in the way. And so I thought I would go ahead and decided to open up just a multifamily business, just focusing solely on that. Amazing service, doing the all-inclusive model that we had, and I knew a lot of people in the industry already, so I had a good start already. So it's kind of where we were.
Definitely, and you had this, this niche of, multifamily that you carried over from previously. And then you founded EnviroSMART in 2009 out of Dallas, Fort Worth. And, fast forward to 2025, and the company is ranked, number 79 out of the top 100 pest control companies in the U.S.
Yeah.
You've got 3 branches, more than 80 employees, and this portfolio now of over 1,500 luxury multifamily properties across Dallas-Fort Worth, Houston, Austin, and San Antonio. What drove this level of growth and success that you had?
Mostly the trust that our customers had in us, and then there's a lot of movement in the industry as far as managers moving from this property to this property, or becoming a region manager at another company or something like that. So once you go in there and you're doing the right thing, and you're killing the bugs where you're supposed to be doing, the customer is going to trust you to continue to do that. So you just kind of the bigger you get, the bigger you get.
Yeah.
So
yeah, awesome. And your team too was a huge, component of that success as well. And I don't think we can talk about EnviroSMART's success without, mentioning John Parker, and Luis Martinez.
Integral.
Yeah.
Integral part of it. It's just, they're incredible. And they really helped. They manage, the whole operation.
Yeah, of course. And even for us, working with them during this process too, we really got to see, just how instrumental they were to the success.
Yeah, they're on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Yeah.
This is your chance, I guess, to brag about, how significant was your leadership team in shaping EnviroSMART's success.
I couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah.
No way. I've worked with Parker before. And I knew when I opened up this new company that I was going to have him back at some point. Yeah, he's incredible. His organizational skills, his people skills are just amazing. And then with Louis, he can build a team like nobody's business. Yeah. He is just. He can get people to circle the wagons for him like nobody you've seen before. So integral part of the success of EnviroSMART for sure.
Yeah, that's really great to hear.
No, I'm very lucky.
Yeah, for sure. And then switching gears here, so we were just talking previously, but on January 21st, 2025, we had our first exploratory call.
Okay.
It was you, me, and Stuart. It was a cold day in New Jersey for us.
Yeah.
So I remember that.
It was a cold day in Houston also. I remember that. So we're sitting around on a Saturday.
Yeah, right.
I remember the fire was going.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously,
right.
we never do that.
And so at that point, you decided it was the right time for you to sell, and that your business was ready to go to market. What made you choose the Aus Group to represent you, and your business?
Well, I didn't necessarily choose to sell at that point, but when I did make the phone call and you guys and Stuart picked up immediately, that right there was a sign of how much he cares and how much he puts into it to your company. Yeah. I mean the way when you pick up on a Saturday afternoon, I mean he could have easily called me back on a Monday, and I would have been fine with that. Yeah. So that certainly spoke wonders on just the beginning first impression of y'all's business.
Yeah.
And then of course he threw a number out there initially on that Saturday, and it sounded pretty good. It sounded a lot more than I thought that I had in my head.
Yeah.
So I waited a little while and then went on with the evaluation, and then kind of went from there. Yeah. But no, you guys, talking about your business, I mean, you guys you're really a class act. Yeah, I mean, from start to finish, professional. Do what you say you're going to do. Prepare. You guys are like, you prepare people like I've never been prepared for. Because most people like me. Guys like me that are selling companies, they haven't been involved in this before. Mm. We don't know what we're doing. Yeah. So to hold our hand through this whole process and to be there, to return our calls immediately and emails and everything else and kind of over prepare us. Or prepare us to exactly what we needed.
No, that's a great answer. And hey, on behalf of us, we appreciate that answer too. That means a great deal to us. And we touch on it starting in January, and the closing was in November.
Yeah.
And that process spanned, nearly 11 months.
That's it?
Yeah, right. And we had a lot of fun during it too.
Oh, we did. We did. Yeah. No, it was. It was a major learning process. Also.
Yeah. And during that time, we gathered, the information that was then put into the presentation deck, which I think was, nearly 70 pages long, the whole deck. Then we held the meetings with the potential purchasers.
And by the way, those meetings that we held with the potential purchasers, I don't think there was one of them that didn't comment on that deck.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. Great job.
Appreciate that.
And because they were, they've seen tons of them, and they've, they were overly impressed with the one you guys put together. So thank you.
Yeah, of course, and that's a whole team effort. So kudos to these guys as well. So but we touch on the management meetings, and then there was the due diligence and so much more that came with the transaction. So how would you just describe the overall experience from that January start to the November closing?
Yeah. It was a lot of work, but it was smooth also. No hiccups. It was, and it was a little nerve-wracking. And again, we've never been involved in anything like this. So with those meetings, it was just, we wanted to put our best foot forward, and they felt the same way. So it was kind of just a question answer deal, but it was a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. So now that you've been through the process twice now, you have this clear understanding of what purchasers are looking for in a well-run, strong company. For the pest control owner that's out there that may be considering a sale, whether in the near future, in a few years from now, what advice would you offer them, as they go to prepare for the market?
Yeah. Just be really organized. Keep it simple.
Which you guys, you were very organized. Yeah.
And then keep it simple.
Yeah.
Don't do don't try to be all things to all people. Just do what you do best, and then offer that, and just keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. And then finally, for closing thoughts, what did you enjoy about working, with the Atlas Group, and how would you just describe that overall experience, with us representing you?
Terrible.
Okay. And cut the interview.
No, you guys have been amazing. I mean, you really made this process just as painless as possible.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, and I feel like we're going to be lifelong friends.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been a great process. Everybody's been super nice, super attentive. I mean, it's been incredible.
Yeah.
So
we appreciate that.
No,
yeah.
I mean, literally. I mean, from the preparation to just the attention that we felt like we got throughout the whole process was amazing. So yeah, I'm super grateful that I kind of ran into you guys.
Yeah, no. Hey, it all starts from a Saturday call in January on a snowy day. But John, just on behalf of all of us, the entire team here at the Atlas Group, we just want to thank you, for putting that trust in us and allowing us to represent you and your business. And as a token of our appreciation, and knowing that you're a big Chiefs fan, we got you this custom.
Oh, get out of here! No
Chiefs jersey
way!
as a thank you. So.
Right on! Look at there! Right on! Thanks, guys. That is awesome. I am gonna cry. I'm gonna cry.